when it's working, and it was all working perfectly, so sometimes it's not. Wasn't I the one wishing that I could make a connection? No, hopefully it'll get right on. All right, so luckily there's now 2 YouTubes. I will only post this one and leave the other one off.
Alright. Sounds good.
Hold on, so now we're active with YouTube. Let me get the recorder going.
All right, it is 6:41 at the Monday, September 22nd Select Board meeting. I make a motion that we come out of non-public to enter into a public session.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Kathleen, aye.
Diane, aye. And Tricia. Do I have to make a motion to go into public meeting?
No,
Oh,
I have to make.
oh, seal the meeting, right. I make a motion to seal the minutes of our non-public meeting.
No decisions.
No decisions were made.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Kathleen, aye.
Diane, aye. Tricia.
Now you're in your regular meeting.
Okay.
Now you can open the doors and grab whoever is left out there to come in.
Thanks, Diane.
Stuck around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had a few leaves, but
Oh, really?
now they're just looking to play it.
Oh, okay.
You saved my seat.
That's your seat, nobody took
It
that.
was Chief Howard, you was right there, I guess she's not coming tonight.
And she left?
No, she wasn't one that left.
Well, everybody,
So,
if you haven't already signed in, could you ask that you do that? And we'll take a roll call for tonight's meeting. Present on the board is
Kathleen Palacio.
Diana Alpha, Trish Caruso, you also have,
John Harrington.
and those in the room, you don't have to announce who you are, you can if you like, if you're going to speak, you will then have to announce who you are.
I press and all EDC. Harmon Verville
Peter DeSantis.
And Larry Roberts, South Shore Board Association.
First item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Does anybody have any citizen comments that they'd like to make? Come on up and state your name and
Mike
whatever.
Bradshaw. And I just was finished another massive amount of news stories about the town. Unfortunately, I got noticed in the publisher like, write a bunch of stories with that, but deadline. I says, why? Well, unfortunately, I had written a lot of stuff already. But then said it take place like the 9/11 memorial. And we should be sure I just finished that. That was amazing. Like, anybody get to go there? There should be trail there, City Park. They only started late Friday night and was at 7 in the morning. Yeah, they're on 6:30. And just jam packed with hundreds of people. The highlight, I think, of that race, watching the runners come in up Deerfield Road. Come to the staging area, hundreds of people gathered. And one person would be coming off the road, hold out the baton, and the teammate would grab it, run down another path, and head towards the coast. So just an amazing event to witness. And of course, the firefighters association and a lot of town officials were there helping with cooking and serving food. Just a madhouse, I guess, for a couple of hours. But it was a good event.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other citizen comments at this time? I'd like to make a note that road agent Chad Palacier has entered into the meeting at 6:44. And just in time for our next agenda item is the highway department.
Perfect. I need to pack a ball apparently.
Yes, it is.
So we have POs, are we gonna do those now or? Or a couple?
Yeah, 3 items in our folder for your department. Chad, the 2 POs and then the environmental services proposals.
Okay.
Start with whatever one you want.
So one of the POs is just the paving project, that's complete, it's wrapped up, so we just need that signed so we can. Take GMI for their services,
For Bartlett Road.
Bartlett, Reserve, Ridge.
Oh, that, yeah.
And Townhouse, So,
Multiple roads.
yeah. so they're all 4 of them are completed. Technically 5, because Ridge goes 2 ways, but. So, and we were, I think total on those 3 roads, we were like 20 ton over. So, it wasn't bad. Considering the estimate, Townhouse was so hard to estimate, just because it was such, it's a little bit all over the place, we lost the primer, so we weren't sure what it was gonna take to get it back. But GMI gave us a good estimate, that we're right around there. So,
And, yeah, we'll vote on these. Now or
Whatever you like to do.
might as well, right? So I make a motion that we approve the purchase order for to pay GMI for paving of Bartlett Road, Ridge Road, Reserve Street and Townhouse Road in the amount of $118,586.17 out of the capital reserve fund, which has a balance of $284,578 at this time.
One second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye. Trish, aye. Sign that, send it back.
so the second one is the screener that we talked about. We looked, searched high and low, and we found one that finally, we found one made out of New York. And it seems to fit our needs a little bit better than some of the others we looked at. Size wise, a lot of the others allowed us only to use the skid steer. This one would allow us to use either the backhoe or the loader as well. So, that being said, I gave you, in that packet, there was the, I think it was 4 total that we are kind of interested in. And you'll see the price was anywhere between 12 and 21,000. I think the one we picked, delivered is just over 15. And that fund has just over 20 in it now. So we actually have the money, which is a good thing.
Make a motion that we approve the purchase order to pay Caesar's Equipment for a screener at the cost of $15,195 out of the which revolving fund is this?
I don't know if I
Transfer station.
Transfer station upgrades and services.
Yeah.
Revolving fund, which has a balance of $20,844 at this time. So that would be about $9,000 left in the revolving fund.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, Trish, aye. You wanna speak on the environmental services proposal?
So I know a little bit about it, it's always, in the past, it's always either been taken care of by Sean or Derek. So I know 5, 6, 7 years ago, the gentleman that we had used for 20 odd years, left Novus. And we always had used Novus Engineering prior to that. He went to Monadnock, he might even be
have started in Monadnock, I don't know the details, but we. At that point, the board decided to follow him because he knew our situation, knew what was happening, and was very aware of our legal fill and what we needed to test for and what with the issues were. So we've used them as long as I've been back. And I assume that it's testing time because MS4 requires it. So we usually do it every November. And they come out, what they do is they come out, they test all the wells and the running water well that we actually have in the shop. And they test them all and we get a report back of what's happening, what's coming, what's going. The testing has increased a few years back. I think they started testing for PFAS. So the price went up just a little bit with that, but other than that, it's about all I know about that. I just know it's part of the MS4 and like I said, it usually came in and prior Derek just took care of it, went out the door. The report, John actually sent me the last one. Up until that, I hadn't even really ever seen the report except for part of the MS4. And DES carries a copy of it on file for the transfer station portion of our.
So this is required for us to keep our.
Yes, yeah,
This
it's,
is making fun.
Every transfer station over the state has that.
yeah, and with the MS4 is part of the federal requirement as well. So,
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the town to enter into an agreement with Monadnock Environmental Consultants for GMP sampling, laboratory analysis and preparation of periodic summary report. In the amount of $7,100 to be signed by the chair of the board. Or vice chair.
I'll second that.
Before I take a general vote, I personally have a couple of questions, I don't know if others will. Would you explain why we may not have done an RFP for this?
I like I said, I don't know if we've ever done one in the past. I don't know. We've always kind of used them because, or him because he's known our stuff. I mean, we could, I would suggest if we put it out for RFP, we do it next year.
Yes.
But I don't, my fear in RFPs is if we've done them in the past and I can bring some for paving. When we put it out in RFP sometimes.
We don't get.
No,
We're just moving with whoever.
Years ago, we had a paving contract because the person had our paving. We had decided to add paving. The board required it to go to an RFP as opposed to giving it to the contractor, and it was $8,000 more than what the contractor had. He said he could do it for 11, and our best bid was on him. And it was 19 at the end. I understand the
Right.
other end of it as well, but
Right, we have that policy, right? But so you're saying potentially this same person might say, we'll come back for $7,100 next year, but as soon as we put it out for an RFP, they might increase that to $9,000.
yeah, some of the problems is sometimes the RFP, right? And I mean, we don't write RFPs for testing every year or often.
They are challenging.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what happened with the RFP with paving, it was just. It tied more than what needed to be tied into the paving project, and all of a sudden the paving project became a lot more than it was before.
And then
So-
that's happens frequently. I'm taking up a financial policies class right now, and they just did a segment on this. They said a lot of towns for services like lawn mowing they've been getting really good deals, and then a board will come in and say, no, we want to go to RFP. The person that's giving the deal at that point is like, oh, that's too many hoops, I'm not jumping through those hoops, they bow out, and then towns end up doubling their costs.
And I understand that, and I can see that can happen. And so that may be something we be looking at within our policy. Maybe we adapt it to our policy. I mean, we can't be saying we are sticking to these policies, but not this, right? So,
Sure.
when you see something like that.
You do have a segment in your purchasing policy for a sole vendor, and you can make justifications for waiving the requirements. Every board has that option, depending on the situation. So the policy already includes that option for you.
Okay.
But I would also suggest if we have that, because I understand where you're coming from too, just because we've been going with someone, he likewise may not be the cheapest.
Sure.
But if we have a year, like this has been brought to our attention, maybe you could do some research, reach out to other towns, and say, hey, how much are you guys being charged? Like what process are you using? And find out if it might be advantageous.
Yeah.
If we determine it is, then we could go that route, or if you come back and say, oh my God, guys, we're getting the sweetest deal of the century, then we know to exercise that clause and say, we're gonna better sweeten it.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as I've been involved with the highway department, we've always had estimate, I've never seen an RFP for it.
But it's a very
I-
specialized thing,
Yeah, I
right?
just don't know, I don't know why it hasn't been,
I mean, conversely though, we could have a vendor sue the town, right?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't give me the opportunity to have this policy, so something we have to be very cognizant of. So I appreciate you answering that question. The other question for, just to confirm, I think John explained to me that last year we paid about 4,000 something. It's gone up this year because it's a reporting year for this, right?
But the other prices within the quote are exactly the same as last year. They did not increase them.
Any other questions?
I don't.
Violence, I mean, some labs, not all labs are created equal,
Right.
and if this has never been an issue with the state, then that's a good reason to stay with them. And some labs, if we do go put this out to bid, we need to make sure if they need to have certain qualifications that they're qualified to do this. I mean, I've dealt with other labs in the past, and it's really important, because we throw away a lot of money, a lot of data.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the quick easy thing is, it's like, like Kathleen said, is for me just I can reach out to a few of the other towns around and see who they use and what they're getting charged. And I mean, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
And if we're in about the same ballpark, or or we're cheaper, way over, then we can do something different.
Yeah, it's a couple $100 for,
Right.
thousands.
Well, and it's nice that, I mean, these guys know where everything is, they know it, they come in and do their thing when, there's just
You don't have to tag one of your guys or yourself.
to spend the day with them walking and taking
It
care
would
of
be a
that
day?
as well. Well, they spend the better part of the day, they spend
Wow.
about a half a day in there, cause they're gonna measure the depth of the waters, and then
Yeah.
they gotta take certain samples, and then they look at their samples, and sometimes their samples aren't good, and they resample.
Yeah. Yes.
So they spend
Thank you.
4 or 5 hours anyway,
Yeah.
usually at the shop.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diana?
First aye. This is
You were
for
signed.
me. All right, anything else, John?
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. You're very welcome. Given the rest of the class.
On the agenda is the, we have Larry Roberts here to speak to us about the boat ramp usage for a potential upcoming event.
Okay, I'll try to not take too much of your time. We are a club that's about 70 years old, that's been in small upward racing, all around New England. It used to be that there were 4 clubs in Maine and 1 in Massachusetts. Now there are no clubs in Maine, and there's 1 in Massachusetts, and we cover Vermont as well. There's another club in Connecticut. Why we would like to race here? We only have 1 event in New Hampshire. And we are, one of our donors is the boat museum up in by the way.
Wolfboro.
Yeah, Wolfboro, thank you. And they would like us to have more than 1, because they give awards out for people in New Hampshire racing. Previously, we had a race in Milton. which was nice, but there's just too much wind there. The Milton Three Ponds is it's just too big for us. So why we like this venue? We want a second venue in New Hampshire. There are no houses to bother people. It's a straight course. It is fairly narrow. But there's room enough for turns. It's well protected from the wind. It has a nice sand bottom with virtually no rocks. And there's a nice beach for carts. Now you have a boat ramp, and a lot of our places have boat ramps, but with the water, when it's not too high, we can stage our boats out. We generally run about 12 classes during a day, and we'll have a third of those on the beach at one time. Because people go out twice and classes alternate, keep everything running smoothly. And there's room down there for our trailers that carry the boats. I'll show you a picture later of what that looks like. We race on the Kennebec River in Fairfield, Maine. This venue is a lot like that. It's narrow, it's protected from the wind, and I'll show you some pictures of that race and see what they look like. I don't know if you care what they look like, really. I don't know if people will come down and watch when they hear our motors running. Be nice if they did. We don't charge. There's no fee. But as far as from your perspective, what you're worried about is what we do with the site. That we carry it up, do our trailer tires, make ruts and stuff like that. We're very careful about stuff like that. So as I said, we have from 10 to 13 classes of boats. The boats weigh about 100 to 150 pounds. The motors run from 15 horsepower to 50. Of course, the heavier boats take the bigger motors. You must have heard our engines down here because we test on this piece of river quite a lot. But we use the boat ramp on the boat side. That's too far north for us. Plus, it is function. It's used more, and it's not big enough on the land for our purposes. Our courses are basically a long skinny oval. And we have a patrol boat at each end for two reasons. In case anybody flips, which does happen, happened a lot Saturday. And also to look for driving violations in the corners, because the people get disqualified. There's usually, we hire an ambulance, could be one of your fire department's ambulances or not, that changes from site to site. We do pay for that service, of course. It's a beach start, like a sailboat race. We have a clock and we have a start line in the middle of the course. And the drivers go out and they have a couple of minutes to get ready. And then there's a white flag and 1 minute left, and they have to time their start at the clock where we have video. We can see who's jumped the gun and who hasn't. I'm about half done now. You want to show the pictures, and I'll go through the pictures. I guess you got it alphabetically. That's okay. That's fine. These pictures are all from the Fairfield, Maine event. So you can see those boats are pretty small. Those are basically 15 horse, and those boats are called runabouts as opposed to hydros, which you'll see in other pictures. So we usually run a runabout class and a hydro class for each size engine. That's where we get our 10 to 12 classes. Next picture. This is a particular start. You see that white buoy, that's an outer course mark. That means you can't go outside. they're coming to the start and they're all looking at the clock. Those are hydroplanes. Those are 33 horsepower motors. And they're among the fastest of the things we run. They're under 70 miles an hour, so they break all the speed limits. But we have a sanction that gives us the right to do that. Sanction from the American Power Boat Association. We have insurance from them. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And we also have to have a New Hampshire water event permit. So that's something we have to go through. I know in Kingston, New Hampshire, there's a similar permit for the town. So we have to go through that process too. I don't know if they have something like. Next picture. That's a picture up there with a little white thing as it says pits, but it's too small to read. That's where your event is.
Right here.
Yep, right there. And then there's a piece of water south of there. At the top, there's 2 buoys. And at the bottom, there's 2 buoys. So the boats run around those 4 buoys 3 times per heat. Takes about 5 minutes. 5 minutes per heat. The 2 little red things in the middle, that would be the start line. And on the east side of the river, we have our clock, big 4-foot clock. It's a 1-minute clock. Next picture. Just another, these are the smaller boats, 15 horsepower hydros. That's my grandson.
Wow.
Next picture. That's a sea runabout. That's probably one of the faster boats. And you can see they're a little lively in the corner. This river is this piece of river is very flat. It's very good for us. Next one, and those are the fastest boats we can even run. Sea hydros. Like I said, they're close to 70 at the top. And of course, in the corner they're 40. Next picture. That shows you a couple of our trailers. Now, those trailers are relatively large. Half our guys just have a boat trailer with a steel frame on it that takes 2 or 3 boats and a box in the back for the Indians. These are the bigger ones. So we might have, down in that space, we might have 10 of those and 6 or 7 of the other smaller type. And I'm sure there's enough room for all that down there. I think, is that it? That might be it. Yeah, I think that's it. So, what we need for resources, we need the park from Friday noon, some weekend to be discussed. The date is open through about 5 o'clock on Sunday. So it's basically a 2.5 day week. But we need the space for that time. During the day, other Allentown residents can use the ramp. They can go up and down. But between noon and 4, we need the water. All to ourselves. Otherwise, there's problems, obvious reasons. So between noon and 4, we need the water. And we must coordinate with the rowing teams that are down there from the Manchester United. My older grandson used to be part of that, so a little bit familiar with it. But on Saturdays, they are down there on Saturdays. They could be there Friday afternoon, and they are. That wouldn't bother us. And they can be there Saturday morning for noontime. So I will have to arrange with them. They don't use it in the afternoon, Friday and Saturday afternoon, from my observations. I don't know that that's.
So usually early morning.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be a problem with that. So what do we need from the town? We need free admission to. Sorry. That's what I just told you. What do we offer the town? What are we gonna provide for resources or whatever? We have free admission to all that are willing to sign an insurance waiver.
The races, you mean, free admission to the race, to race?
Yeah, well, just to be on the property, because they might fall down and get hurt. And then theoretically, you guys could be liable. So we have an insurance policy for every weekend with the American Powerboat Association. And one of the things we do is that they offer an additional insured liability insurance policy for the weekend. I have one here you could take a look at. That would be for you. It could be one for the town, it could be one for your public, you know, if there's an administrative thing that you, anybody that might be liable in case of an accident. And this is because this has nothing to do with getting hurt on the water. That's separate. That's not your problem. But if somebody tripped and fell or something, we have additional insurance for that, and you get a copy of that. There may be, I don't know what the infrastructure here is in Allenstown, but there may be custom for local hotels, restaurants, whatever. I mean, we've got our people spending money on the weekend. There's usually 50 to 55 boats for a small race like this. And that means, you know, families and stuff like that. And then we usually give a donation. It's not a big one, but a donation to at least one local charity that you guys get to pick. Whoever you think deserves it. I know up in Lincoln, Maine, there's there's an old folks home. That's where they want. And we usually give them 1,000. Most of we get a lot of people, a lot of Canadians come to that race, so we have more money there. And that's the end of my presentation. Unless anybody has any questions.
Do you have other vendors there, like are there maybe a food truck
We
or?
often look for a food truck to come and again, I'm using Fairfield, Maine as an example. They do a nice job and they do a nice business. I should have put that down. And it's an advantage. Doesn't to the town, but it's, you know, it could be a town resident that runs it.
And it's open to spectators?
Oh, yeah, it's, yeah. The only thing is that the spectators, when they get near the water, they have to sign a waiver that they're not gonna sue us. And they have to put a wristband on. It shows that they've signed the waiver.
Are you aware of that, the rowing teams come out of the hooks at
Yes,
park? So,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
and we're
Just
trying.
mentioned the music.
With our timings, yeah, I know, and there's St. Paul's.
Yeah, there's a couple of schools.
They're the ones that have all the money.
Yeah, there's a couple of schools,
Yeah.
2 or 3 schools.
So I would have to contact them, my club, somebody from the club would have to contact them and make an arrangement for that some particular weekend. That the water would be off limits 2 afternoons, from noon to 4, that's typically what we do.
And not that we would have any concern about it as the town, but I'm curious, how do you control other boaters from being in that area?
In Maine, there's specific laws for that. But all we can do in New Hampshire is, we have our patrol boats at each end of the course. And until people get used to us, we just have to, you know, say you can't go there. We're going to be south of the Bow Ramp and south of the Pembroke Ramp, so they can do whatever they want as long as they go upward.
And 90% of the traffic on that river, being on that river most of my life is north
Yeah.
of that whole pond. There's very little traffic, so.
Would you have, if we agreed to, would you have marketing materials that maybe we put on our town website?
Absolutely, you know, I just took it out of my truck. There's a document just like that, in Kingstown, I can send you a copy of that. And in Lincoln, Maine, we do a annual booklet that's bigger, that we hand out all summer long. You know, to explain pictures like that, and explaining how to, you know, to make watching the race a little bit more entertaining, if you know what's going on.
One last question for you, then Chad, I have a question for you. What's the time frame that you're looking at? Are you looking at next summer?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, next summer. And the time of the summer is open to negotiation. We have weekends that are no good for us, and you may have weekends that are no good for you.
So we talk about that.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, we're fair, you know, we have openings in every month.
Chad,
Mhm.
in this time, have you heard anything that raises concerns for you with your knowledge of our boat ramp area and the park there and all of that?
The only, the only thought in seeing where it is that most of the shoreline is private. A couple of the farmers own most of the shoreline, but both guys are really good guys, and I'm sure that that they could work something out if spectators wanted to walk down. And watch the race and whatnot.
If we could, if we could get a list of those people, we can write them letters.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, I can absolutely help you with that.
Yeah, we did run into that problem, at the Fairfield race the first year. We missed a family. We missed a piece of land that we didn't give, and we didn't give anybody, notice what we were gonna do. And that happened to be on the other side of the river, the east side of the Kennebec. And that was interesting.
Yeah.
He didn't like us for a while, but we made up, and now we're no problems then.
Yeah,
I think you said that parking looks sufficient, you feel that way too?
Yeah,
I think there's plenty of parking down there for.
yeah, I went down and took a bunch of pictures and passed it around to our guys. Is interested in this.
Yeah, and I've seen 30 or 40 boat trailers down there on a Saturday, so. So, a dozen, 16, 18 would not be an issue.
Yeah.
Do you require any assistance with managing like your boats need to be able to park, have that access? Other people might come with their boat and wanna park and be out on the water.
Yeah, we have signage. I have, actually, that's a line here in this. We have signage that we put up. It doesn't completely solve the problem of it being an unexpected thing. And I don't know how you as a town would, make people aware. If you have a Facebook page for the town, that would help a little to say, hey, look, on this particular weekend, there's gonna be this thing going on. So then you come down and watch for free, but you can't use the boat ramp in the afternoon.
And I think if you put signs down there, if you had some sort of signage, 90% of the people down there are down there every weekend.
Yeah.
So.
We have the
Any
sign.
plans to let them know, Chad?
Yeah, if we could let them know in advance and that they would, they can't be on the boat on the ramp from this time to this time. They have to stay north of the ramp. I think knowing most of the guys that go down there, I don't think it'd be a huge issue.
Yeah. We had, that was the big issue with Milford, where we used to race, but people got used to it. And, the town wanted us there, a particular weekend. It was just, this is your only weekend. And, it was a weekend that worked out for everyone. And it was the summer kickoff, and the town made a big deal out of it. They did this, the Boy Scouts did the food vending, worked out well. We really need, wherever we go, we need people to like us.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not gonna have the opportunity,
That's
right?
So, yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Police or fire express any concerns? My only concerns were, and it sounds like Chad is fine with the traffic down there. It doesn't sound like you guys are bringing crazy crowds. Not that it would be a bad thing if you were, but it's just.
We'd like to have more spectators, no question.
And maybe as word spreads, maybe, the first year it's not so big, but as people find out, you do start to draw bigger crowds.
Looks exciting.
It sounds like you planned well for the ambulance coverage. It doesn't sound like we should need traffic control at these levels. Did police or fire think that they?
I have not presented everything to them because I didn't have all this information at that time.
Okay, yeah, as long as all our departments are on board, I think it would be great for Allenstown. I think the public would really enjoy it, and I think we will end up with quite a few spectators, like I said, especially if it becomes an annual event and word spreads and people get to go see those cool boats in motion.
Mhm.
I know, I'd like it.
Good.
Yeah, I think we pretty much have the summer open except for Homeless Day. That would be like a lockout weekend.
When's that?
It is the last Saturday of August.
Last Saturday of August.
Yep, and yeah, it varies, but the last Saturday of August, that would be a no-go.
Yeah, I can't think of any other weekends, so.
As far as, providing like a food truck, you know, I can talk to, I know you heard Mike talk about Reach the Beach, that's the firefighters association, did this whole, you know, grills and beds, I don't know, a couple thousand people.
Yep.
So I can check and see, cause they like, you know, the fundraisers, cause they donate a lot of stuff back to the fire department. So. That's one thing avenue we can check on, if nothing comes up. There's a vegetable stand in Hooksett, I don't know if you're familiar with it, La Valley's.
Yes, yes.
So they have, last weekend, they had like 1 or 2 food trucks there, so that would be something, you know, if there are no groups in town that wanna do that.
Yep.
I take it's hot dogs and hamburgers type stuff. Is
Yeah,
it-
it's we just had the Kingston race this weekend.
Yeah,
And it's there's a children's center there. And you know, it's basically an air street, but they like us. And they do the hot dogs and hamburgers. Coffee and donuts is our donation, hamburgers
Oh,
$5. It's
yeah.
like, how can you beat that?
okay. Yeah, check that out.
Do you check, like, you know, I mean, Pembroke is nearby, they potentially could be having events, you know. Do you have a way of knowing whether some
I haven't thought much about that.
nearby town?
Haven't thought much about that. No, we did look at the Pembroke site as an alternate. I say I did that.
Sure.
And I don't like it for a number of reasons.
Yeah, my only concern is if our neighboring towns, you know, have some other events that they're planning and maybe they have, you know, something that we just
Yeah,
aren't
But
conscious
you
of.
said they would be, they're north of where
Yeah.
Space Union,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be.
Well, it could be, but we just don't know how far they might travel, right, you know, so.
Mhm.
Maybe just.
It
cognizant
would
of-
be good if we were to take the responsibility for notifying the towns as well as the people that own the land.
That could be beneficial to us, you know, we like to be, you know. At least let our neighboring towns be aware.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think the next step, if you guys are on board, I think the next step is at our next meeting. Which is the second Wednesday of October. We'll look at the schedule. And obviously we know where not to put it, but we'll look at what fits for us and we'll propose it, we'll propose a weekend. And if for some reason you don't like that weekend, we'll look for a second one.
So should we make a vote tonight, wait to hear the date, what are you thinking?
With my son, we're all in favor.
I think the board is generally
Yeah.
in support of it.
Yeah,
We can wait for a date.
Yes.
yeah,
And that'll give me an opportunity to put it out to the PD and fire, just to
Yeah.
get their feedback.
Yeah.
And then you can formally vote when all of you are here to accept the event on that date.
Okay,
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
thanks for the interest, I
Okay, how do you spell owner?
Thank you for thinking of us, yeah, that's great. I love that.
OW.
And
N. Thank you.
You're
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did I say you need your time limit, John?
You did well.
Good, thank you.
Mhm. All right, next we have the town administrators report.
Future town hall updates.
Oh, sorry, I skipped that. You do town hall update, John.
So, update, the locksmith was in there last week and again, has done a lot of work running wire to the doors to get them ready to accept the key swipe system. He's talked to the computer vendor who's gonna come in hopefully this week. And they might be able to get the system tested, to make sure that's gonna be operational. There's a possibility of meeting with the HVAC person to come in and give us a proposal so we know what we're looking at in order to put out an RFP for the heating and
Oh,
ventilation.
that hasn't happened yet, okay.
He forgot our meeting last week.
Oh, I know,
We
somebody was like, yeah,
So perhaps tomorrow, or Wednesday, I think he was proposing it this week to get in there. And I can update you once that happens,
okay,
but that's where we are right now.
okay, how about the inside doors, any activity with that? The inside doors that need to be kind of.
That's gonna take finding vendors and we have to get quotes on those.
So who's looking for vendors? Does
Nobody,
Brian,
right, nobody.
he is still the GC, right?
Yep. I would be looking for another meeting to
Okay, I did leave a message from Elaine, yeah.
get the next phase.
Oh, and it was the ADA restrooms. Did Elaine talk to you, call you?
No,
Okay.
and there has been also, we had the building fully inspected for fire, which hadn't been done in a while. It was replacements of emergency exits, batteries, lights for units that didn't work anymore, so that work has been done. So the building should be up to snuff on that. I also have a written proposal, which I want to share with the committee. To see what we need to do first, I asked the vendor, RB Lewis, to break it up in phases. What do we need to do immediately versus what can wait a little bit so we can work into it?
Yeah.
And they're willing to do that for us so that they understand
Yeah.
the cost constraints with doing everything.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's,
okay, so at what point, I know Armin and his people have been waiting to move into those two classrooms. At what point do we get them in? Only after all those internal doors are in? Okay,
we need to do that, and we also need to get the building compliant with current codes. It isn't right.
so all that has to be done before you can use it?
Yes, before you can allow the public in as
Well, yeah, that
large.
wouldn't be the public,
Well,
right?
I know Armin has looked at different aspects of wanting to have meetings there, and I consider
Right.
that public.
Right, exactly, that's public.
Armin
Like,
has
if you want to
had
come in and
access.
paint with some people.
Armin has had access to get
Okay,
fixtures in, and he and I have worked out a schedule. He's welcome to do that. It just can't be open
right,
for
right,
usage.
sure. Just right.
Yeah, just remember too, that if you have HVAC or someone come in, all these rooms may be getting some construction work done to put these in, and I don't think you wanna put too much in to hinder that
Yeah.
construction work.
Which is why I've been kind of holding
You know.
people back. I know Armin is anxious to get the museum up and running. But if they're gonna be in here, as Peter said, ripping apart ceilings and putting in ductwork, it could get messy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want, oh, I'm sorry, Armin, go
Yeah.
ahead.
The only thing that I'm interested in trying to get in there now, we removed some of those old cubby hole things for the kids. Brought them to my house, we've refinished them, repurposed them, and now I'd like to get them out of my shop and back in. I'm not really bringing anything in.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yes.
Secureness.
that's basically what Armin and I have been doing.
I personally trust that you're being cognitive about not destroying your things, not being in the way of the construction, all that,
Totally.
and you guys will work it out.
And no meetings, nothing until everything is fine, yeah. We don't have a problem. Yeah, John and I did it. Yeah.
So that's the update I have for you, Ray.
Okay. All right, town administrators report.
Okay. I need BOS approval for 2 invoices. This is all working on the highway garage, the final design, the RFP is published. So I will be coming to you with bids in a couple of weeks at our next meeting, hopefully. One invoice is for $18,530.40 to come from the highway garage capital reserve fund. This is for the final site design and permitting of the septic system. There's a second invoice for $936 to come from the same capital reserve fund. That is for the project manager labor. The balance of the capital reserve fund as of July was $536,426. So I would need a motion and a vote for those 2 invoices to be paid out of that fund.
So moved,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, I,
That
Right.
works.
Aye.
So Trish and Kathleen? Thank you. At our June 30th meeting, I came to you with a vote for the skid steer tires, if you remember.
Yep.
The vote was for $900 even. When the invoice came in, it came in for $940. There was a charge to take the tires off and put them back on. So I would need a new vote and a motion to use the highway auto and equipment repair fund for $940.
So moved.
Second.
You have a second?
Diane,
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Trish, aye.
thank you. In your packet, you have some data. Trish pointed it out earlier, wondering what it was. That is the first 2 Saturdays data from transfer station pilot program,
Oh, okay.
showing the activity. And Derek Purewell will be supplying that as we go through. Chad and I are due to have our first month check-in at the end of the month. And we will talk to him about it, but I just wanted to share that early data with the board. And one final question, has the board thought about, since you approved the non-insurance stipend for employees who choose not to take health insurance? My recommendation would be to prorate it from August to December.
I'm good with that.
I think because you approved it so late in the year, it does not make sense to do a whole year.
Yeah.
So that amount would be $1,250 to be paid out in December. Is the board,
Okay, I guess I thought we already finalized that.
we didn't finalize the amount.
We prorate, so they could have potentially not paid out the full 3,000.
Right. That's fine.
But my thought is,
Prorate.
yeah.
right, and if the board is in approval with that, that's what Veronica and I would work towards
Yeah.
come December.
Yes.
You're in
I'm
agreement?
agreement.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's it for me tonight, thank you.
So under other business, we did get some correspondence here. A gentleman, made a proposal to the town to sell some property that he owns in the town to the town. And wanted to, John wanted to share that email with us. It's on Granite Street. Not sure why he wants to sell it to the town. We don't know if he's tried to market it already elsewise. I mean, it's just it's a
tax?
The map is on the last page.
basically a standard lot on Granite Street,
Oh.
no, it's not. Doesn't seem to be, I don't think he's saying, oh, this will benefit the town in any specific way. Personally, I think right now we shouldn't be buying property, we should be selling property, so. That's just.
Is he delinquent on his taxes on that property?
I didn't look into that, I just got the.
Get rid of it. It's like, yeah.
Oh. So it's right on the corner, I always assumed that it was part of this house's property, actually. It's right as you go up Latender. Yeah.
That's commercial property, we actually had a,
Shit, right by the,
yeah, right on the corner.
Yeah.
We had a company years ago try to put a daycare in there, but they needed a special exception and they dropped it at that point. But they had come with a conceptual for the planning board,
But that was a while back.
that was probably 5 or 6 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Yeah.
only wants to sell it to the town?
He just sent the offer.
Okay, unless he wants us to take first refusal or something. But he could
Oh,
get
that's a
some
good
money.
thought too, right? Is there a reason why we might be like on their deed as a first refusal?
Right, we can-
Or like Catherine said, at least on taxes.
Can we do a little bit of homework?
Yeah.
And bring it back in the next meeting?
Well, he's asking us to spend $200,000 on it.
I don't see how the town has 200,000, I mean, it's spend on property, my property live me,
Yeah.
but I don't know how much further discussion we wanna do, plus.
But it is good to maybe know if there's
Well,
some
we-
background.
yeah.
But like Diane said, if we are on a deed for first refusal for some reason, we would need to know that and
Yeah.
have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I mean, if we make no decision, you can't do anything. but-
Yes. Yeah. What's the acreage? Maybe an acre.
2.6.
Oh, 2.6.
It's the other large piece, but still. Lots in the town. Some things can afford to be on property.
So what would you like me to do?
See if there's some back reason why. Is there a lien on it? Is he trying to avoid a town lien?
I mean, I can look
Is
it up,
there-
I can look it up and just.
Is there something in the
there's-
deed that the town is involved in the deed somehow? Something that,
Let's see, just.
I think that would have been offered.
I think, right?
yeah.
We need to offer that.
Well, this is coming from a commercial company, they
Yeah.
stated that up front.
Yeah, that's what I think too, yeah.
I can certainly look into it,
That's the thing,
That was
it's sort of,
something-
yeah, but it does sound like a good deal, but in a default budget year and with everything we have going
But
on.
I don't think we don't need the profit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we don't need the
so do you want me to bring it back up or?
I'm fine with letting it go myself, if these guys want.
I just wanted to read through it. No.
Sure, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna read quick before we make a vote on it, Diane, is that?
Is he looking
your
for,
preference?
he's looking for a yes or no, right?
Let me put some on my list. Would the town be interested in buying? Please let me know. We would like to sell it to anyone interested.
No. He's just giving us the option to buy it first, I think.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so I just.
Make a vote on it?
Do we need to?
Okay.
I think we just need to
Did
say,
you get
yeah.
correspondent?
Yeah, thanks, very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, other business still is, we've heard from Larry. That. There is a tax payment agreement that, we have here, tax payment agreement. Between Ann McPherson of 13 Roland Drive in the town of Allenstown. For Ann to pay the town in the amount of $12,089.66. In the amount of $250 each month on or before the 30th of each month. I guess I make a motion that we.
Is it? No, I'm trying
She came in after.
This is a new one.
I'm still getting contacted by.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
And those could happen throughout the year. Yeah, so.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we enter into this tax payment agreement. With Ann McPherson of 13 Roland Drive. For the total payment amount of $12,089.66.
I'll second that,
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Trish, aye.
As they come in, I'll bring them to you.
Does anybody else have any other business that they would like to bring up, discuss?
I don't.
And I'll make a motion that we ratify the consent calendar of September 22nd, 2025.
I'll second that,
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the public meeting of August 11th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye.
Trish, aye. And then I make a motion that we accept the minutes for September 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye.
Before we go there, I did note that at the beginning of the minutes, under the heading of Nate Medola, there was a second paragraph, and it stated that Mr. McDonald made a motion to authorize Mr. Harrington and the board and Michael Trank as signers for the current and any future AEF disbursement. But it really should have been for the bond disbursements for the sewer classification.
Oh, okay.
So I made that note on here for too. So all in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye.
Church aye. If we need to fill. I make a motion to approve the 2025 check manifest numbers 162 and 168.
All second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye.
Trish, aye. I make a motion that we approve the town payroll manifest of September 18th, 2025.
All second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye.
Trish, aye. That concludes our meeting for today. Anybody want to make a motion to close the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
7:42.
All second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Trish, aye.
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martha.